Today's reading is March 16th, and it's called Nature's Sway. When the wind stops, the trees still move, the way my heart creaks long after it bends. I am always surprised at the after effects of being moved deeply by something. I can be hurt or disappointed or feel the warmth of being loved or the gentle sway of being temporarily left, and then I'm ready to chew on something else, seldom allowing for the feelings to digest completely. In fact, I've come to see much of my confusion in life comes from giving my attention to the next thing too soon, and then wrapping my new experience in the remnants of feelings that are not finished with me. For example, the other day I felt sad because an old friend is ill. I addressed my sadness directly and thought I'd been with this mood enough, so I continued on my way. The next day I found myself in the usual frustration of traffic and shopping, and the indifferent reactions of waitresses and clerks were suddenly making me sad, or so I thought. Though it seems obvious here in the telling, it wasn't in the happening, and I spent a good deal of misguided energy wondering if it was time to change my lifestyle, but really, I was feeling ripples of my sadness about my friend's illness. The deeper lesson involves nature's sway, its approach, its impact, and especially its echo. Everything living encounters it, especially us in the unseen ripples of what we think and feel. Being alive takes time. The activities are sit quietly and focus on one feeling that recently came upon you strongly. As you breathe, attend whatever traces of its impact are still affecting you. Breathe slowly like a flag and let these traces of feeling ripple through. And I think, I do a podcast with my friends, and it's called Telling on Ourselves. And there was an episode, and it was about acceptance. And we were talking about how they were saying something about like how you have to be in acceptance. And I said really loud and really emphatically, acceptance isn't real. And what I meant was when we're not ready to be accepting of a certain situation, right? When we're not ready to let go of something or to heal something or to be done with something, it still lingers, and it doesn't, like, you can say you're in acceptance, you can say you're okay with something, you can think, like as he did, that he was okay with something, but then it still pops up in other ways. And there in one of my courses, I learned that there's a really good quote, and it says that when you bury a feeling, you bury it alive. It doesn't go away until you deal with it, right? Until you work with it, until you've worked through it, until you've come to this point where you can digest it completely, right? As he says. So when the wind stops, the trees still move, and that is pretty profound. And my friend always tells me, my mentor tells me, that feelings can't hit a moving target, and I tend to avoid feelings. Like we all do, right? I tend to numb, but I tend to keep myself very, very busy. And I think right now, this is a perfect time to be with myself and my thoughts and my feelings, and to learn how to be a little slower and a little less running around, because it really, the remnants of what's still happening in life and those feelings are still there. So we can get to acceptance, but we need to digest what's happening, and we can't just ignore it and push it under the rug. Because I am an Olympic ignorer. I am really good at it, and I am very good at deflecting and not dealing with things. But I'm grateful that these readings allow me to be present enough and reminders enough that this is what I need to hear today. So be well. VickyRude.com if you want to learn more. Subscribe. I have a newsletter that goes out weekly. I hope you are well. Take care of yourself and your family. Slow down and let life unfold as it is today. So that's all I have. Namaste.